We are live.
We're live. Hi, guys. Thanks for showing up today to help me out with our discussion. We're going to talk about how important it is for jewelry makers to use the best quality things they possibly can and what quality is and what isn't. I can tell you a bit about that since I've spent about 33 years in this trade now. And, I've done designing. I used to pick jewelry for big shops. I had a line that was sold to over 500 store accounts at one time. Most of you guys know that story. And now I sell parts. So I have a lot of experience in knowing what's good and what isn't, what you should be looking for when you're out and about, buying things to maybe make a new line of things that you want to try on your customers. We're also going to talk about who your customer really is. Do you know? Sometimes people say, well, I never thought about that. But you really need to do that. You have to, as a matter of fact, if you sell your stuff. If you don't sell your stuff, then all you have to know is how to please yourself. But that's kind of a small world, I guess. You know you're going to give it to friends, and you're going to give it to family, and even if you never sell a piece, you're going to give it to people. So you want them to be happy too. You don't want them to look at it and say, oh man, where am I going to wear this? You want to consider, what would they like? What would they wear? So that's what our discussion is going to be about today. The big reason I wanted to have this discussion is because some of you may remember the Build-A-Line BALC class that I used to do every winter in January. I did it for about 6 years, and I was sitting and figuring this morning, I think I had about close to 200 students pass through my doors in that time. Most of them were unique. Some were taking it for a refresher. I know a couple girls like to take it every year. So anyway, we had a great time in that class. Most people tell me that they had learned a lot from that, and it helped them kind of reroute themselves. So I'm thinking about possibly doing that class again because it's been 3 years since I've done it. And things have changed a bit since then. My own attitudes have changed since then. So today we're mostly be talking back and forth. I hate to call it a lecture, but I'm just trying to kind of experiment with a little bit about how I would do this class online live, because that's the best way to do it. So I need some repartee. I need people talking to me. So hopefully if you were able to come out today, and please don't hesitate to leave your comments. To leave comments on our feed, you need to be logged into your Google account. So if you haven't done that, go do that and come back, and then you will be able to comment. And I'm looking forward to your comments, as a matter of fact. I really, truly am. They will be very helpful to me in preparing this course to possibly give again this winter. So let's get going and let's get talking. But first, before I do, I'm look and see who's here. And I also realize that, when I come on and I touch you, I usually don't have my glasses on because I don't really need them. But since I'm going to have to read my notes part of the time, I'm going to need them because I'm not that great eyesight. So anyway, you're going to have to put up with my glasses. Hopefully they don't glare too much. So then we'll come over here and see who do we have with us. We have Chris here, Deborah Long, Andrea, Dara DeMagno. Well, that's good. That's a real good start. Deborah was in Build-A-Line. I think Chris was one time too. Maybe not. You can correct me, Chris, if you weren't. It doesn't matter. You already make beautiful things. And I'm looking at that too much, and she's pulling across. She wants me to look here at you, straight ahead. I don't think, Andrea, that you were ever in it. Maybe. You correct me if I'm wrong. Let's see. And Dara wasn't, because Dara's newer.
That's true.
Well, you wouldn't know that, would you? Dara, she just jumps in there and does everything. And I apologize to you, too, that I got the time wrong at first. I would have rather had it later, but it just wasn't going to work for us today to have it later. As you know, we're like in the middle of doing the Miriam Haskell style beading, and that's tomorrow, and that's all day live. me being on here, so I have a lot of prep to do tonight. So we just had to do it at 3. That was our best. So whoever comes, and we're delighted to see you here. Deborah, did you see I put your picture in the newsletter last night? You might not have seen it yet. I put your picture from one of the bulk classes in there because you did such a fine job. And Deborah does a great job making lines, making things that go together and that are priced within a certain price point so that her customers won't run away, afraid of her because she charged too much. They're realistically priced, and she has a very nice following. So she's a girl to watch.
Andrea said, "No, I was not."
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Hi,
We got
Erin.
more here up here
Hi,
too.
Sarah. And
We
hi,
got
Lori.
Sarah Riddick. Yeah. Erin took. I think Erin, you can correct me. Erin took the class every year. Every single year she came back for the same one. This time, if she decides she wants a refresher, it's going to be different because what we did, we had a Facebook classroom like we do now, but everything was in the classroom. So we worked off of modules. So you had to do a lot of reading. And that's probably not going to be the case anymore because we're going to be live. I will print the modules. I'm rewriting the whole class, whole thing. Maybe it'll be written better this time too, since I wrote my book and had a few facts slapped into my pea brain about what it is to write well. But yeah, it'll be completely rewritten, and then we'll be doing the modules on here. So that'll be kind of cool. So I can hear what you say up front, because a lot of times I would post a module in those classes and people would read them. It might take them a few days to read it, or maybe they had to catch up because they didn't get to a few weeks, and we didn't have as much back and forth as I would have liked. Sometimes we did.
Okay, Sarah said, "I'm new. What class?"
Okay, you're new. What class? We're talking about the class that I taught for, I think it was 6 years, maybe it was 5. 5 years straight, every January. It is called the Build-A-Line Challenge, and we just called it BALC, B-A-L-C. And this was not where we were making jewelry the whole time, but we were learning to create in a cohesive manner so that what we made looked like everything we made it. Does that make sense? Like some people work in a lot of different styles, but to try and bridge things together so it looks like one artist made it. And it's not all over the place. So once you can do that, and people can look at your work, even if you're working in 2 different styles, like Erin does mostly steampunk, but she also makes the Miriam Haskell wire bead type stuff too, elements she puts in there. You look at it, it's all Erin. And she learned how to do that. She just got it down. So once you get to that point that everything you make looks like, oh, I know who made that. It doesn't mean it all looks all the same or anything. It's just cohesive. It's not all over the place. And it also saves you money when you buy supplies. If you learn to do that. Oh, yeah, it does.
Alice is here.
So, hey, let's see.
Ingrid
Alice is here. Alice is in the beading class this time. Ingrid's here. I think, Ingrid, you were in that class, weren't you? I'm pretty sure you were in that class once or twice. Yeah.
Is it the one that you have to build a line? Is that the bulk?
Yeah,
no?
build a line.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
But we just got used to calling it, bulk.
Yeah.
That kind of sounds weird, I know. But anyway, Sarah, I hope I answered your question. If I didn't, if you're a member of the creative group, or if you want to hop on to, I think it's called now the annual workshop group, which used to be all about our May workshop, but it isn't anymore. It's all the workshops. I really probably need to change the name of it. Or you can shoot me an email, or you can contact me on Facebook Messenger if you have questions, you want to know more about it. It's a fun class, and we all you learn a lot about yourself, is what you do when you do this. But yes, you do make jewelry, but I'm not teaching you to do it. I'm just talking to you about how you might approach it. So there's a lot to be said. So I hope maybe you'll think about it. We're probably going to do it like dead end of January or the beginning of February, because there's a big important wedding in our family, in particular Javi's Her sister's getting married. So there's going to be a lot of hoo-ha over that, I imagine.
Yes.
Yes. She's already tense. So anyway, so yeah, she won't be able to do a class until that's over with.
Yeah.
That has to be over. Yeah, it's the very first one she was.
Aaron says I
Let's see,
love
Chris Wheeler, how you doing? I think it's Wheeler. And Melanie Charno. Hello. Thanks for stopping by, Melanie. I don't think I've met you before, but I'm so glad you came.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I haven't. I don't remember you. Please forgive me. Just refresh my
Yeah.
brain.
Ingrid wasn't the first one.
Yeah, I think
Hi,
she
Chris.
might have been too, yeah.
Aaron says I love it. It just keeps me motivated.
The very first class we had, I did completely for free because I never taught a class like that, and I just didn't know how good I'd be at it, so I kind of practiced on that group. And I think we had 60 in that group too.
Here's a question.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, dear. I'm right there, Roman. I'm new here. I do online resell jewelry. Tell me what kind of book value do you recommend? Thanks.
Okay, well, it depends what you're making. It depends largely what you're making and what you have in it. And there's a formula for that. There are a lot of formulas for that. Everybody has their own way. But I can tell you this much for now. It's really not part of this discussion today, but we do get to it in this class. That won't be for a few months yet. We're going to give you a few little tidbits.
Oh, you have to pay for this class, of course.
Yeah, this is a paid class. I don't know how much yet, but you can afford it.
Yeah.
For as much as I'll be giving you, you can afford it. You'll be glad you took it. Yeah, to give you a kind of an answer a little bit there on the, how much value, Roman. It used to be, and I have to re-examine this because things have changed since COVID and stuff went up and all that, but it used to be the price points were usually 22 to 55 if you created inside of that. If you could make some things that were less expensive than 22, that's great too. But I wouldn't be making stuff to put online for a whole lot less. At least try and get 15, 14, 15 because as you know, and a lot of us know, it's a lot of work to sell online.
Yep.
It's a lot of work. You have to take good pictures. I was reading through this module that I wrote a long time ago, but I had saved, and it talked about a time when we used to sell on the internet with no pictures. Can you imagine trying to sell a piece of your jewelry on the internet with no pictures? I mean, forget it now. Don't even bother. If you don't have a picture,
There's no point.
no one will even see you. No one will even see you. But back in the early days when I was first on the internet, and that was around 1997, and then I had my first website. It was slow uploading photos, and people didn't know how to size them. So you'd click on something, and it'd take you forever for the photo to download. And then when you'd look at it, you had to move all around with your mouse. You felt like you were on Google Maps or something. Here's part of it, here's part of it, here's part of it. And it was just about as good as nothing. But we all learned how to do it. We learned different ways to do it. We used to use scanners and digital cameras, and now most of us just use our phones, and that's just relieved us of so many of the cumbersome details of doing it. Most of us have gotten pretty good at it, and good for us because you have to be if you're going to sell it.
Hi, Nolani. Hi, Jan.
Oh, Nolani's here, and Jan's here too.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Ingrid, for saying it was great. I need the vouching.
Thanks, Melody, being the first timer.
Yeah. So glad you came.
Yeah.
Glad you came.
And remember to
So you agree then with those price points, Roman? Do you agree with that? Does that work for you? Usually for me, I've always said between 22 and 55 is impulse. I should talk to Mr. Bernie. I think all you guys know that I work with 1928 Jewelry Company from time to time, and he's helped me a lot with the way I perceive things. I don't agree with everything, because after all, I'm an artist. I'm not mass-produced maker. I never have been. Even when I had my line for 10 years and we made a lot of things all the same, all in a row, we were not mass-produced. It was all handmade. And even though 1928 jewelry is a lot handmade, if you watch their process, a lot of it's made by hand. But at the end of the day, it's not really. It's production jewelry. And it has the look of it. It's beautiful, nice to wear, fun to wear. For example, my bracelet that I'm wearing, I don't know if you can see it.
No.
I can't see it. Okay. It's 1928. A lot of you guys own it. But anyway, it's an old company. It's been around for about 54 years. And he's been around that long, too, doing this, so you can imagine how many experiences he's had. So I might ask him, or maybe I'll just get on his website and take a look, because I know prices for that type of jewelry have gone up. So it might be interesting to get his take on that. But for me, it was always like 22 to 55. Like recently with the Haskell beading class, those pieces are so laborious. And if any of you guys ever try to make them, and I know a lot of you have, even if you just do tapestry beading on a few leaves to stick in here and there, which that's a good look too. It takes time. It's not at all quick. I don't think, even if you were a super beater, you'd never be quick. I mean, it would be interesting to know how much the ladies sitting around the work tables at the Haskell company years and years ago back in the day, how fast they got done with a piece. I tend to think is maybe one lady was doing this piece, one lady was doing this piece, so that way it kind of made it production. But because there's so much handwork to it, no, it was kind of like production, but it was handmade. And it was so laborious. And so anyway, I've sold a couple of my pieces that I made for the class. People have wanted them, and I feel embarrassed when I tell them what I want for them, because they take hours and hours and hours to get done, And it doesn't matter for how many years you've made them. Every new piece that comes along is a new puzzle. So you have to learn to troubleshoot, trial and error, and all that stuff. But when you're done, you have an absolutely wonderful, wonderful piece, and you don't see much of that kind of work around here unless it really is Haskell. And none of us does it look like it really is Haskell, but it has that look about it. We're not trying to copy anything that company ever did. I always say I couldn't copy if I tried, because I just can't stay. I don't want to copy anybody, and I get bored with their idea. I want to do my idea. That's how I am. But no, we're not copying anything. We're just learning the techniques. And, in time, as things go along, you learn new ones. You learn new things. So we don't need to think that the techniques that we're using as jewelry back in, say, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s are as good as maybe we might figure out today. We might figure out new things because there are new products now. And we've all done a lot of things. Many of us have been working on jewelry for many, many years. And we have our own feel for it. And it's probably going to be just as good. I mean, I'm amazed at the work that's coming out of that class. But that's not Build a Line. I do classes, for those who don't know, I do classes that just center around a technique or a type. We've done like scrapbook jewelry classes, mixed media, resin, mosaic, epoxy sculpt, you name it. We do have videos about those things on our YouTube channel, but the classes...
They're like intense.
The classes are kind of intense, yeah, and they are not there. You can buy... Some of them I do have recorded, and you can buy them from me. And they cost a little less than when we were doing them, years ago. So, but they're still, I think, on my website. And you can still take the Haskell class if you want to.
Okay,
It's still there.
There's
so,
a couple.
Anyway, okay, so what are people saying? I need a drink anyway. I need a drink.
Deborah Long says, I think that's still the case with the prices. Due to the economy, people are...
reluctant to pay more.
Yeah.
I would think so, Deborah. And you would know because Deborah has such a busy show schedule.
That's
I don't know
true.
how she does it, but she hammers it.
And Lorraine asked, do phone pictures work?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
We're on-
use phone.
We're on
use our phones.
2 phones and an iPad right now.
Literally.
2 phones and an iPad, and
We even do that for
We do
the
it.
website too.
yeah, the way all of our pictures are made with iPhones at the website, and I don't make a lot of them because Javi just can't stand my pictures. It has to fix them. My pictures are okay. You can tell what's going on.
You know.
But she has a certain standard for the site because she kind of develops how we're going to do it.
You know, like Brenda says, like if you're selling your jewelry, her pictures are not selling quality. I mean, they're great. I mean, but I think there should be more light.
Well, for the jewelry type stuff.
Yeah, definitely for the
But,
jewelry type.
I can tell by looking at a picture, mine or anybody's, if it's going to sell product. Sometimes they'll put things on Etsy and the way it's laid out, I know nothing's going to happen, and I have to tell them, hobby included. You got to take it apart and do it this way. No one's going to buy
true.
that. I'm going to have to reduce the price so much, and it still won't sell because they can't see what's going on. You got to show them what's going on. And another thing you need to do too, when you make a piece of jewelry, even before you start making your professional pictures, to sell it, you need to take a picture of it, stand back and examine the picture because the camera does not lie.
That's true.
And it will find the errors for you.
Hi, Debbie.
Right now. So, yeah, phones are great.
Yeah.
You have a lot of editing software right in them, and then there are different little apps you can get like PixArt and PicMonkey and what else? There's just all kind Lightroom or
Photoshop.
Yeah, so I mean, just tons of stuff, and it takes a little bit of messing around to get it right, but it's not rocket science.
I think it mostly depends on the natural light too.
Yeah, we know.
I notice a lot of natural light. Is
natural
way
light.
better.
Natural light is better, but I've been using Lightbox a little bit from jewelry now, and
You can
I've
still do
been
that,
happy
too.
with them. So
Yeah, somebody was asking about lighting.
you can't just pump stuff out like Haskell saw. Who said that? No, well, you're right, Nalani. You got that one for sure. Hey, Debbie. See who else
Heidi's
is
here, too.
Heidi Blankenship. Hey, honey. It's nice to hear from you. It's a lighting. See, she says hi, but she's telling everybody just joining. I'm so glad you joined us, Heidi, and I'd be really happy to hear what you have to say about things too, because you have a lot of experience. Melanie says it's the lighting that counts, isn't it? How do you light yours? Yeah, lighting's super important. Some things you can make up for in Photoshop or the other editing program. Some you can. And when you've done it a lot, when you look at the picture, you kind of get a feeling for like, yeah, I can fix that. And some you'll look at it like, that's impossible. I got to do this over. You know?
And sometimes if you have good natural lighting as well, you don't have to do so much on editing programs. Just a little tweak here and just crop it and you're good to go.
Yeah, Javi usually sits at her desk and there's another little table next to her that's right beside a window. And we don't have good light at that window all the time. But there are certain times of day that the window is so excellent that she doesn't use anything else to light it. She doesn't have to. She just opens the curtains and there's plenty there, and then she uses Photoshop to tweak it. And it's good. Her pictures are very, very good. If you want to see what good selling pictures look like, of course our stuff is mostly parts.
We have some jewelry
and you're not
parts.
sure, look at our website, bisabatiques.com, and you'll get an idea. Not all our pictures are perfect. I don't want to give you that impression, especially if you look at the bead mixes, because those are the ones I take.
Melanie says, here's a suggestion, a class on lighting jewelry.
A class on lighting jewelry.
Yeah.
Well,
I've seen a lot of people ask that.
We usually talk about that in Build-A-Line, but we could probably do that in just a YouTube video. And that would be one of the ones Javi does, because Javi does some of the videos too on this channel. I don't do all of them. I do most of them.
Yeah.
But she does more than ever. And that one would be one for her to do, because she knows a lot more about it than I do. But it is a good suggestion, and thank you for it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. What else is going on? Let's see. I'm just going to scroll back a little bit. Okay, that's it. So I'm going to get into my module here. I've already said part of it, but anyway. Anyway, what did I want to say? some of us might think, I don't think many, but some of us might think like, oh, wow, now I've really made it. I have all these customers and they're just lining up and we're doing all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. I've had times like that in my life, believe it or not. This ain't it right now. But I've had times like that, and we've all had times like that. You know, I think Deborah's talked about different times almost selling out or selling completely out at a show. Wow, that's fantastic. I remember one show we did early on where we were just stuffing money in our pockets. We didn't have time to write it down, just stuff money in our pockets. That was a real rush. Probably is what got me really started because we had that success like that so early on. But you can never rest on your laurels and think, no, I've made it. Don't ever do that because it'll catch up with you. And bleak reality will set in at some point. Never think, now I have enough customers. Now I've reached enough people. You always need new customers. Always. I am so blessed in my business to have so many people who come back to me again and again and again. And a lot of you folks that are here right now are those people. And there's a lot more too. I'm really blessed with that. But we're in a period of time right now where things are just kind of in a state of flux. And a lot of people would prefer to use up what they have instead of buying anything new, which is wonderful, especially when they tell me I'm using your parts and just using up what I had. And that makes a lot of sense. At the same time, we can't pay our bills that way. So we can't rest on our laurels. We have to find people who've never seen us before, who don't know about us yet, who don't know about the sort of things that we carry. So you never want to feel like I've made it now, because you never made it now, not really. And you know, I wanted to tell you, like, for example, in my own case, you know, how quickly you can lose customers. Most of you guys know that I wrote a book a little while ago. It took me 3 years to write it. It was about 1928 Jewelry Company. They paid me to do it. It came out great. I'm very proud of it. But during that time, it was so stressful that I just had no ideas. I couldn't video day would come along and I should have had my project prepped in the middle of the week and ready to go. It wasn't there. It's too much. Too much going. Burnout. That's a good word, you know, for it. And so for 3 months at one point, I didn't make any videos. Some people thought I quit. A lot of people just went on to watch other people because it's not like it used to be 12 years ago when I started on YouTube and there weren't as many people doing videos about jewelry making. Now there are tons of people doing it, of all kinds. And so there's plenty of distraction out there. And unfortunately, some are starting to come back, but it takes time to build that back. So you never want to have a time where you feel like, okay, I'm good. You have to keep working it. You have to keep working it. And not only that, everything's always changing. So you can never think like, I've got my style down, I've got my formula down, I know what I'm doing. To a degree, I'm sure you do. But you never know everything. So you have to stay on top of it.
Okay, we got like a bunch of questions.
Let's hear them.
It says, Hobby, what time of day do you find that there's the best lighting? From 10 to 5. Usually. Right now, probably until 3.
It depends on what time of year it is, too, doesn't
it does. Like, right now, it's like from 10 to 3. Usually is the best time.
For me, when I would want to take, and I don't know if this has anything to do with anything, because I'm not the big pro, at it that she is. I mean, I've had to do pictures for years, and I did sell products, so maybe I learned something. But anyway, I like to go out in the middle of the afternoon when the sunlight's starting to get a little mellow. It's not bright. Just getting a little bit mellow. And I find that from maybe 3:30 until, depending time of year, because this time of year you're not going to be taking pictures at 6 o'clock outside here.
That's true.
In Ohio, it's too dark already. We're in Ohio. But in the summertime, about 3:30 to 6, that's a good time. Mm-hmm. If you want to go outside and do it. And sometimes if I have a bunch of pieces of, usually for me it would be a piece of jewelry, that maybe I just want to put a picture on, the creative group just to share it. I might not even be ready to sell it, or maybe I just sell it direct right off of Facebook. I do that a lot, I know some of you do that too. And I can get away with maybe pictures not being as great as we would have them on the website. But that's the time of day that works best for me in the summer. Now this type of year would probably be like 2:30 to maybe 4:30. Would you think? No? You think early? See, early, if I take it outside, well, it depends where I take it.
Yeah.
Because there are shadows around here that
it does
make
depend.
it hard to deal with. But anyway, that's what she says, so we'll go with what Javi says.
No one say, here's a suggestion. How about how to set up a successful managing an Etsy store?
Well, we have that in Build a Line. We talk about
Oh, yeah, she does talk about it.
We talk about it a lot.
Join the club.
And the one thing about that, Noy, is the one thing you have to accept right up front is if you want to sell that way, you got to work it. I hear people all the time saying, not you guys, but I mean, most of you guys know this, but I hear people, they're doing these Etsy tirades all the way. Oh, Etsy's no good anymore. They take all your money and blah, 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 blah. I put up 10 things, nobody bought them. I almost just bust out laughing, You have to start out with at least 30 things photographed well and add to it every single day. We find in our Etsy when we can be having 35% off sale. It doesn't matter. If we're not putting new things up nearly every day, people stop looking. So that you've got to have good pictures, and you have to keep creating all the time and put it on every day. When you list it, you have to put in really, really good keywords, so you have to think. You don't just put something down. You got to learn about the process of it.
Oh, Peter's here.
Peter's here from Australia. Our buddy Pete's here. Well, thanks for coming, Pete. Pete does good with his stuff.
Yeah, there was a couple other stuff here too, but I guess we're just going to have to come back.
Heidi says, a great tip for hiding some light. Add a piece of foil, dull side, to a large piece of chipboard and angle it to bounce off the product. I hope this makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think I've seen a lot of people do that with even just regular photography, bounce off the person.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Oh,
what's my name on Facebook? I'm Brenda Sue Lansdowne. And you can send me a friend request. I'll remember your name. And then we can talk that way. But what you really ought to do, if you like jewelry making a lot, Sarah, and you think you might like me and some of these other girls on here, because most of these girls belong to that group, is you want to join the Be Sue Boutiques Creative Group at Facebook. And Javi will put a link.
Yeah, after the video.
In the description of the video. So where it says see more underneath the title and stuff that's right under the video picture. Click on that and she'll have all kinds of links for you. And you'll find it really quick. Come over and sign up. We have 10 admins because it's a big group. And so somebody will see you and let you in quick. Okay?
Dara says, I do best taking pictures outside. So do I.
Yep. A lot of people do. Heidi says she's in Minnesota. Sorry.
I like how you said
I don't show. My niece used to live in Wisconsin, which I guess is close enough, and she used to say that. So I should, and I can't rely on the winter to be nice. Yeah, on the weather to be nice. Yeah. So I have a couple of lights. Yeah, we used to use a lot of. We used to have a Rubbermaid box hamper, and we turn on its side, and there are two big lights on each side. It would diffuse light through it, and we got some good pictures like that, but it was really cumbersome and clumsy. So now we bought light boxes, and we found some other ways to do it, and we're getting by okay without it. But yeah, when we were down at the shop, we had this big cardboard thing that Shelly made. I'll tell you what, it took great pictures. I did good with that thing. But when we left the shop, we said, we don't need it.
Heidi has great advice here.
Well, Heidi's a professional.
I see why.
She's a professional.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what.
I do the same thing.
Okay, so anyway, So Beansy's here. I didn't see Beans. Where's Beans doing?
I know
There
she's
she
up
is.
there
Hey,
somewhere.
Pete.
She's over here. Hello.
Yes, Deborah. I can't agree more. You have to be putting things up constantly. Harry
Yes.
Wood says that. He's very successful.
Oh yeah, he puts up stuff constantly.
And you know who
too.
else is real successful at Etsy is Danielle Clark.
Nuh-uh.
She's
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
She puts
she's
it very often.
extremely
And she posts
good
it on
job
Instagram
there, and
and
she
Facebook.
does well.
She hits them all.
She's cultivated a really nice customership, but she knows too that you can't just say, "Okay, I got enough, I can rest." No, 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 no. You better not do that. You find yourself in a pocket of nothingness at some point. Let's see if anybody has anything else to say that I missed. I think we got it.
Yeah, I think we got it.
I think we got it. I'm so glad for you guys to be here and talking to me.
Yeah.
This just shows you what that class could be. You know, there's a phrase, I think it's from the Bible, where it says iron sharpens iron. So it's like you got one sharp thing and another sharp thing, and they come bouncing together and it sharpens even more. So it makes you more bright and got ideas, to bounce off each other like that. Peter says taking photos on a cloudy day or put polyester over the clothesline so as the sun shines through it. Polyester fabric diffuses the light and you can take a great photo.
Nuh-uh. That's pretty cool.
I never heard that
Pete. Either.
I've never heard that. That's very, very interesting. Huh. If you have a clothesline. How many here have a clothesline? We might have to make one, huh? I used to when Jordan was a baby. Now, where my parking line where my clothesline was, we have a parking
lot now.
I actually have a parking lot at my house. Isn't that crazy? But there are so many people come and going from here, so we got to have one. Little one. Yeah. Beans, you take good pictures too. Beansy takes pictures. And when I was saying at the beginning about how you want to get that cohesive look so that when somebody sees your work, you know who made it. Beansy's a big one.
Yeah.
Anything she puts up, Lisa made it. And part of it's because of her style and her paint strokes and stuff. She paints on china and on pewter and not pewter. Well, I guess you could do it, but brass mostly. And she has a style of doing it, but the way she takes her pictures is awesome. Awesome. And by the way she takes her pictures too, that Beansy made it. So she has nailed that for sure. Deborah says, I don't even have a yard.
Yeah, I was thinking for the city folks, this is kind of hard.
Yeah.
Or an apartment, you don't have a yard.
Peter, I don't know how big your place is, how much property you have, Peter, but I always, when you show pictures, I always think you've probably got a lot. And the birds come up. I'm so jealous of this. The birds come up. Peter goes out and has breakfast or lunch, and the birds come up and take things and visit with them. And these are wild birds too. They're not tame. So it's just beautiful birds. So cool.
Oh.
So Lorraine says, I'm new to jewelry making and have so many ideas, but what type of stuff do people like most? Gotta find my niche. Do you do anything with leather? We do some leather cord stuff. But we do, hey, there's Darcy. Coffee filters work great to diffuse light. I can believe that. But getting back to Lorraine's question, starting out new. Well, there are so many things you can do, Certain things have kind of universal appeal. Earrings are always good.
Oh, yes, earrings are cool.
And pick certain colors that appeal to people in your area. So if you watch and see how they dress and what colors they wear, might give you a clue to that. If you do shows in your area, on Etsy doesn't matter as much. It just need to be fashion colors. And one way you can discern that is going to Pantone.com and seeing what the color of the year is and the color of the season. And you look at it and you get an idea, and then you throw it out and do a grain of salt. But it gives you a decent idea.
We do have some leather videos on our channel.
We do. Earrings too.
Earrings, bracelets, necklaces.
Yeah. We use sari ribbons. We're mixed media.
Yeah.
So we even use paper sometimes.
Paper, wow.
And our paper jewelry is really pretty. Really, really pretty. Go to our channel and scroll back and see all the videos. We have over 450 videos on this channel. And Javi does a lot of shorts where she does the fast action and shows you how she makes something quick.
Mostly earrings.
Yeah, she does mostly earrings, but you should see how her short videos blow up at Pinterest. It's nuts.
That's true.
All day long I'm getting pinged. Boo, 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 so-and-so likes your pin, so-and-so likes your video.
The red ones are going really popular.
Yeah. Noy says she has a lanai. She needs to get a clothesline. Yeah, maybe you'd have some room out there. Maybe you can make a little one of some kind or something.
Yeah.
To make a little tent or something. But yeah, to tell you what kind of make, first I think you need to sit down and think about what do you like to make or what would you like to make, and then think about, are you going to sell it? Maybe at first you're not sure if you're going to, But if you think you're going to try and sell it, then you need to think about what do people want to buy. That's like identifying your customer. What are people going to want to buy from you in your area or on Etsy? You've got the world there. So you can look at the Etsy tips. You can look at what others are doing. But we do mixed media and hey, Nancy, it's good to see ya. We do mixed media, assemblage, mosaic, that kind of thing. And
if you join the creative group, there's a lot.
Yeah,
everybody.
By all means, Lorraine, come and join us there because you don't have to talk if you want. You don't have to talk.
You can just look and
observe. At the creative group, we are showing what we do with products that come from Busa Boutiques, and we've been in the supply business since '97, so that's a long time. Like I told you at the beginning, I know a lot about this. This is probably the thing I know about the most in the world, is about supplies and quality, because it's what I do. I'm an artist too. I started out that way, and I can show you how to make things, but I know parts, So you might want to get on there and just see what people are doing.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of things there that are not that hard.
Yeah.
We were like, I would say easy to intermediate jewelry makers for the most part, because a lot of us do sell, and we know one thing: you can't take all day and all night to make something like these Haskell type pieces and hope to sell it. You get too much money into your label, and people say, well, I'll just charge for the parts and a little labor and I don't care. Don't take that mentality. From the beginning, get paid. Be sure you get paid when you make a piece. So think about your customer base, small town, big city, online. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then think, okay, what do I like to make? Okay, like some of us like to make boho style jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
So who's that customer going to be for that? Well, somebody likes boho look, of course. And that's not always teenagers. Probably not.
No.
Probably not teenagers. That would be maybe millennials, maybe, up to a little bit older.
Yeah, I think older, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody suggested white, black, pink, and red are always in style. Well, yeah, white and black, definitely. Pink,
I like black and pink together.
Yeah. And the red.
Yeah, that's always good. But, yeah, go out there and look. I used to preach when we did the Build a Line classes before. Take a subscription at least for a year out to Vogue magazine, and then you'll see what's coming down the pike. And nothing wrong with that, but I don't think I would say that now.
Yeah.
Because you can get what you need right on the internet. You don't need to do that. Vogue ain't all that anymore. Although I do like to look at it from time to time. It's just so artsy-fartsy, and sometimes you don't even know where they're going. It's just like, so, like, eh. But anyway, I've learned to kind of look at it and see what they're talking about, kind of see what the deal is there. But I think you're better off going to Pinterest.
Yeah.
Going to Pinterest or going to some of the fashion sites that you might like, and then just paying real close attention. What do people wear? In 1928, their standard color palette is black, blue, and crystal. Boring.
I see why the blue, and I see why the crystal.
And black is dramatic.
So, black.
Those are your basics. Boring. So on silver. But it sells. So if you
that makes sense.
do that plan at first, Especially going in holiday time, those things will sell for you. But if you're a lover of color, you're going to get real bored making stuff like this. So you're going to have to strike a compromise for yourself on that,
Oh,
you know.
Debbie.
So, yeah. Yes, charm bracelets are good. And you can do charm bracelets anyway. You can make them big and effusive like beans. Hers are killer to die for. That's all I got to say. Yeah. But you can make them simple too. Jan makes a lot of charm bracelets. She sells a lot of charm bracelets. She does them in themes. She does beaches. She does holidays, things like that. And they look real good. And she's careful what she puts into them money-wise. She wants to make them good, look good. They're very full. But she is careful and she doesn't get as much money into them as some of us might, like me, because I'm not less is more, I'm more is more. It's just pile it on, you know. But, yeah, they're good. Hey, Debbie Fox. Thanks for showing up. I'm so happy you came. That's great. So, yeah, you know, themes are always good in jewelry making. Was that Lorraine that I'm talking to?
Yeah.
I'm talking to everybody. But anyway, Mr. Bernie's really big on that at 1928. If you look at their lines, very few of them are like jewelry what I call made for no reason. It's just like, it's pretty. You know, he's got his whistle lines, he's got his watch fob lines, he's got his cameo lines. He has horse lines, he loves animals, so he has a lot of animals, and his animals always sell. You can't go wrong if you build a line based on animals. You know, pretty birds, I mean, stuff like that. We sell a line at BisuBoutiques.com called Bisu by 1928, and what it is it's pewter castings that I have plated by my plater in Rhode Island, and they are 1928 parts. The very parts that they have used for all these years to make their famous jewelry. And they really lend themselves to decent jewelry making, good jewelry making. But the one thing about them is some people just want to buy cast zinc imports. I always used to say that, no way. I'm never doing Chinese until I realized that a lot of people I was dealing with for years here in the States were selling me Chinese already. So I'm like, heck with this, I might as well just go source it myself. Charmed bookmarks, yes. And you know what? Any kind of little beaded bookmark or something, what a great gift.
Yeah.
You can give those to a lot of people and they're enchanted with them and they're going to use them. So anyway. So yeah, I'm glad you're here, Debbie. You can help to step in because Debbie does a lot of shows too, and she knows a thing or two about making people happy and customers. She knows what she wants and she knows where she's going with it. So that's a big help. Yeah, that's good. So what I was talking about before, I really don't remember. But anyway, telling you about those parts. Okay, so this gets to the quality. Maybe we get to that part of it. Let me see. Go ahead here. 'Cause I got notes out the wazoo here. Don't just look for the cheapest thing you can find or buy out the bargain bin at Michael's. That's how de-stash groups are born. I see stuff on there, nobody's charging much for it. They're just hoping to get rid of it because it's in their way. And I look at that and I go, there's a word in Spanish, porqueria. And what that means literally is, why would you want it? That's just, there's a lot of that. I'm not saying don't go and poke through them. You may find some sleepers in there. But the rest of it is maybe going to end up being porqueria. And you won't make much money on it. So, anyway, so, you know, don't buy stuff you're never going to use. Think ahead. Don't just, I did lots of this over my time.
Be selective.
Lots of impulsive buying. Think.
Yeah,
first.
you got to think what color.
Think what are you going to make with it. Like some people's orders, I look at it and they're having fun. You can just tell they're just having fun. They're having tons of fun. And other people, you can look at their order, you can tell exactly what they're going to make with it. And Javi knows that too because she ships orders once in a bit too. Jordan mostly does it with his wife. But
yeah, I know. Like somebody's ordered today. I was thinking they're going to be making a bunch of necklaces.
Oh yeah,
that's all I can see that going towards.
Yeah, and that's fine. You know,
it's going to be beautiful.
They know what they want. You know, that's good. But those items I was telling you from Bisou by 1928, they're made from pewter, made in the USA. It's all made in the United States. Every last bit of that line is made in California, as a matter of fact. Burbank, California is where it's made. And it's plated in the United States. I don't have it plated offshore or anything like that. It's all made here. But like I started to say, well, some people have said, well, guess zinc castings are so much cheaper, and they are. And they're not bad quality, depending. Some of them, the detail is just horrible. But some you can look at them and you can see, yeah, that's going to be okay. And, we can get that for less. And I have zinc castings on my side. I have a lot of them now. So that helps people out to get price down. But if you really want quality, if you really want vibe, if you want a little piece of history, Bisou by 1928 is the best you can buy.
Yep.
And it's not high price because I don't know if you guys are familiar with Green Girl. That's a little cast line. There's Tierra Cast. Everybody knows them. There's Quest Castings, and there's a few other. And when you compare Bisou 1928 prices to their stuff, it's all the same. I mean, we're all on target, But it's made in the United States. It's going to cost more. California, their minimum wage is $15 an hour. And nowadays, everywhere, wages are way high. Here you go to McDonald's and start making $12 as soon as you walk in the door. People need to make money these days. They have to. They gotta get paid. So, anyway.
Debbie says I always buy with a purpose,
and
then
I forget
what the purpose was. You crack me up. Well, and the other thing, the difference from the 1928 jewelry that I noticed, it doesn't tarnish.
Well, that has a lot to do with. That has mostly to do with the plating on it.
Okay. So it's all about the plating at that point.
And that's just it. Like, a lot of vendors get online and decide they're going to sell parts and supplies, and they buy American-made brass like I have. The difference between mine is there and theirs is the finish. Almost nobody that does what I do wants to pay for the type of finish that I put on my brass. I sacrifice to use that finish, and I just make a little bit less money because I won't sell junk. I am very, very, very fussy about plating more than anything. And we don't get a lot of complaints about our plating or that it's breaking people out. And if it is, I want to know. Let me tell you what, I want to know. I do. Does zinc tarnish? No, not if it's tumbled and lacquered. No, not really. Not any more than pewter will. But the thing is with 1928 pewter, it contains silver too. Zinc has nothing, none of that. None of that. And zinc, like pewter, you can bend it a little bit if you want to manipulate it a little bit, and it'll go with you. You have to push on it pretty hard to make it break. But zinc will snap easily. You can move it around a little bit, but don't press hard on it because it busts right in half. So I will also tell you too, don't buy Chinese metal unless you know your vendor well. The zinc is probably going to be okay, but do you know that they're not putting lead in anything, cadmium in it? If nickel's a big deal with you, or do they have nickel in the finish? I work with vendors that I know. I've come to know them, and I can ask them anything, and they'll answer me. And also, Mr. Bernie over time has been generous to me and offered me some of his vendors to check them out. And he, California, they being compliant with California standards, you could sell anywhere because they're very, very strict there. So, is pewter hypoallergenic?
I'll look that up.
Yeah.
Oh, I googled.
It doesn't it doesn't break people out by and large, but I don't know if you can. Yes, there are certain standards for calling things hypoallergenic, but mostly for the hypoallergenic, what it is, Lorraine, is it's the finish plating. It's not the metal underneath, because the plating seals the metal out. So it's good finish on it. Good, decent finish. I've worked with my plater for many years, probably about 20 at least, and he's like big brother to me. He'll explain anything. Sometimes he'll call me up and we'll just have a coffee clutch. He'll say, hey, Brenda, want to talk about stuff? Yeah, let's talk. Yes, I'll get a cup of coffee, let's talk. So and he'll explain all kinds of stuff to me, and this has been going on for years, So I have learned so much from that man. It's nuts. But most vendors of brass, like people that get a little bit and get it plated and put it on Etsy, they're not using him, no way. Because they want to pay as little as possible, so they use the low-end platers in the United States. I know who they are, because I used to use them, and abandoned them years ago because their stuff was crappy. But they don't know the difference. It's like, oh, that's a great silver finish. I like that. That's pretty. It's probably a tin finish and not sealed. So if you have eye pens that are made like that, you go to bend them, the finish will peel off. You don't want that. I've had ones that'll do that, and I'll take them all out of stock, throw them all out, and try to figure out what the heck happened. And usually it was ones that I didn't have the plater do. My plater do.
It says the pewter is hypoallergenic.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay, so she Googled it. It's hypoallergenic. But you got to remember, it's not that so much as it's the finish.
It is. It's
on it, because that's what touches your skin, is the finish. So you could use really good pewter. You could be, our stuff all comes plated anyway, except for the brass. We have a lot of unplated brass, but we don't have unplated 1928 anymore. People just didn't take to it. They want it finished. So it's the plating on it. So we have brass ox, we have matte black, we have silverware silver plate, which is our highest end finish. It's fine silver, 99.99% fine silver. The bath that they stick the stuff down into to plate it is almost pure molten silver. How about that? And then he antiques it in this gorgeous way. I don't know anybody else who does it like that. And then we have a bright gold shiny finish, and we also have a classic gold finish, which really we're doing the honey cinnamon antique on it now, so it looks more like the Miriam Haskell look, like the old RGP or satin gold type stuff. So that's what we have. Right now I have a little bit of aqua copper, which I'm going to phase out because I've tried it now so many times and it just doesn't do it, so I have it. People want what they want. But we teach people how to finish stuff themselves a lot too. I mean, a lot. We teach them how to finish it themselves. So yeah, you're right, Lisa. It does happen sometimes. Sometimes it can. So let's see what I had. We're not going to be able to cover everything here today. Maybe we have to do another one next week. So anyway, I think what I want to say in conclusion is, don't use the cheapest thing you can find. Use the best thing that you can find and afford. Now, I would love to work in sterling. I would, but I can't afford it right now. Most of us can't. Once in a while, I find some sterling ear wires that are nice, and I can sell them, and I'm happy that I could offer them till at least they're out. We run out. But I can't work in sterling now, so the closest thing I can use is silverware silver plate, and it looks like it. It looks like all the look of it without the price.
Yeah.
But quality also goes beyond components. Your tools are important too, because you're going to be using them all the time. Don't buy junk tools at Hobby Lobby, Michael's, those big box stores, Joann's, whatever. Don't do it. They're garbage. And how do I know? Because I used to use the same supplier they did for that stuff.
Oh.
And I graduated past them real quick years ago because people complained. They went bad, whatever, this and that.
That's true.
And I've just got to the place where I would buy a pair of Lindstrom cutters because they're so expensive. I mean, I don't like to spend tons on tools, but I I want decent tools. So I've come to the place where, I spend more than I used to, but I never, ever want junk stuff. I'll try some new thing and see how it is, But if it seems like junk to me, you're never going to see it. I'm just not going to do it. So anyway, so I think I'm going to stop here and I'm going to review my notes. Because there's a lot of good points here yet that we could talk about, but we're out of time. Javi's got to go because she's got an appointment. She's got a little chiropractor or something. So I'm going to have to finish for now. But wow,
Yeah,
this is one of the best conversations we've ever had. And this gives you a really good idea of what happens when you take a class from me. The girls that are doing the beading with me now, and I'm not a big beater. I never was, but I love Miriam Haskell, so years ago I started picking it apart and looking at it and learning how to do it, And I just use a lot of brass parts with it, which I carry a lot of brass parts. So that's what our class is right now, and we're having a ball in there, a lot of talking, and I've been telling them some stuff about quality. Because some of the things that Miriam Haskell used in the beginning of making her jewelry was not quality, and that's why some of it falls apart, and you have to rework it. We talk mostly about the history of jewelry making, though. And sometimes certainly don't know everything. I'll never say I know everything. I'll never know everything. But I've been in this business a long time, and I know a lot of people. And I used to belong to all the collecting groups, too, so I know a thing or two. But I can still learn a lot of things or two, So anyway, so I'm so glad you liked it, Nancy. I'm so glad you came. Boy, we had a great turnout. It's great. So anyways, we're going to quit for now. Thank you one and all for coming. How about if we do this next Friday? Think that might work out?
Friday?
No, wait, no, not Friday. We're still doing the class. It'll have to be Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah, we got to do this we usually do Friday videos on YouTube, but right now we're teaching a class and it takes till 4:00. So we can't really do that.
Yeah, we have more to discuss about what customers want.
We can hop on here at 4:00 when class is done, but I'm about, I have no voice left because I've been talking all day already.
Yeah.
So, Jewelry Coffee Talk with Lisa and Javi. That's right. That's right. I'm so glad you came, Andrea, and I'm so glad. Pompadour? I agree. Invest in good tools. It will save you a lot of aggravation. That's for sure. That's for sure. And your hands, as you grow older, you get arthritis sometimes in your hands, and you don't want to complicate that situation, So anyway, yes, and Heidi, I'm so delighted you're here, and Peter also. It means so much to me, you guys, because I know how busy you are. I really, really, really appreciate your coming and the support. So we'll do this again next Thursday. Yep. We'll finish this module, so to speak. And we'll do this again next Thursday at what time?
Want to do 3 again? Seems like we got a good crowd.
We did good for 3. I know it's not good for a lot of people, but they can watch it later. That's the thing about my videos; they're all recorded.
Hi, everybody. Later.
So if you miss them when they're live, the only thing you can't do is be in the feed and comment. But what I'd like you to do, and I'm going to say this for the sake of I'm going to say this for the sake of all the ones that comment. It isn't live anymore. Please comment underneath the video screen. Since you can't get into the feed, it's not, anymore. But please comment that we answer. Javi watches it like a hawk, and I watch it pretty good too myself. We answer. So your comments are appreciated there. Comment away all you want to say. So we'll see you next Thursday for the rest of this module at 3:00. And it's not our usual time to be on, but this is because I'm teaching a class, so we have to move it around. We'll see you at 3:00 next Thursday, so mark your calendars so you don't forget, okay? Thank you so much. You're great. You're wonderful. Every last one of you. Thank you so much. Mwah. See you next time.
Bye.